Private Investigator The Set Up was brought to you by Ariel Screenplay Productions, produced by Ariel Sag, voiceover by Ariel Aaron Sag. You can find her at www.imdb.com. You can also buy products that she has written over the years at www.lulu.com, which is www.lulu.com. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Emily Dickinson takes out her phone and steps back. She is calm. She's just watching Levi. Levi is looking at the pit. There are now 4 different TV stations and now a national station. Emily says, "Thanks, Tom. You saved my heart. Levi just gave me a heart attack. Tom, don't worry. I told the courts it's a national security matter and he has no right to intervene." Emily, "I'll find the killer. But this is somewhat getting more complicated than originally thought. Tom, tell me later. And welcome to the unit, Dickinson." Dickinson turns to the police officers but walks over to the sand pit. She sees the forensic people taking out the hand out of the pit. Now it looks human, and it's not a kid, it's an adult. Emily, I need to take control of the scene. The FBI is sending in their own forensic team. Levi, excuse me, Emily, you have no jurisdiction here. Dickinson, do you want me to talk to my boss, Greg? Because if I had missed my guess, you went around my authority and tried to prove that I was insane. You are lucky I don't arrest your ass. So please be quiet and let's work together on this. At the hotel room hours later, Steve is at his computer. Alien appears to be sleeping. Steve looks over and seems to suddenly remember he was there. He gets up and approaches cautiously. No eyes open. The door jiggles and Steve takes out his gun and points it at the door. Emily walks in. She looks pissed, angry, and upset. "You took all afternoon," Steve said. "I had to call the FBI forensic team. This is getting beyond the local police, and Greg doesn't like it," Emily stated. "What did the investigator Levi do?" Steve asked. Emily, "He went to the courts, made me lose my badge. But I wasn't there for the hearing, so it was thrown out and appealed by my boss." Steve frowned. "That's the South for you. Some units don't like the FBI units, especially female agents. They like being in control." Emily looked at the alien. His eyes still didn't open. She walked over and placed finger to her neck. Seemed to freak out. "What the hell are you doing? He could turn on you in an instant, Emily. Not if he's dead." The alien opens his eyes. He stares at Emily. Emily puts her hand down, but stands back. He looks at Steve, and back at Emily. He closes his eyes, and Emily turns to Steve. "Emily, you can't treat everyone like they are going to kill you. Is why I get more testimonies than lawyers." Steve looks at Alien, and they notice that the breathing ceased and starts irregularly. Steve steps back and points his gun at Emily. Steve, at the alien and Emily. "Steve, don't touch it." Emily, "I told my boss what we found." Steve, "Great, and what did they say?" Emily, "Kill it, question it, or get it out of the city. It's our only contact to space." Steve, "I say kill it." Emily steps in the way. She places a hand on his gun, and the alien opens his eyes and stares, but not angrily. The alien and Steve seem to be scared. Emily is the only calm one. "Emily, what is your name?" The alien, "Eek is my name. I know your language. We watch your entertainment." Steve, "So Eek, why are you here?" Eek, "I was running." Steve, "Running from what?" Eek says in return, "My relatives. They wanted me to get married." Emily's phone rings. Special Agent Emily Dickinson. Eek says, "Where's Mulder and Scully?" Emily, "They don't exist, Eek. They're just on TV." Steve, "Emily, you're getting under my skin. This is why you changed you to solo?" Emily, "No, this was a solo mission." Eek, "I was not shot down by your planes." Which, how do they fly? They are different from ours. Steve, first we have to know who attacked you, what they look like, if this is an invasion, and what they want. Eek, we don't know. I'm new to this too. All I know is they are from inside the universe. Steve sits down in his chair. Emily takes out her phone and types into the phone. Emily says, "By the way, Steve, what did your friend find out?" Steve, I don't want to talk about it. She couldn't tell me anything. It's too classified. Emily looks at her phone and clicks on the screen. Let's see if I can get it. It's not like this is an X-file, 'cause I don't know those don't exist. Steve, tell me about it. But this is the first time Becca hasn't helped me out before. Emily, did she tell you anything? Eek, how many aliens have been killed? Both aliens? Steve, do you live on Pluto like that? It's the coldest planet. Eek, believe it or not, this planet is cold. And you refer to me as an alien, so I refer to you as an alien. Steve, great, sarcasm. This is going to be great. So smart, Dickinson, what do we do with him? Emily is going through her handbag, and she comes out with makeup. She also has a nail clipper. Emily says, you watch me. I used to do makeup for theater at my high school. That was before I found my calling. Meanwhile, on Pluto, at the same time, on the planet, there are mines into Pluto. There is the same type of alien. They have no telescope, but they do have their own radio device, and they're sending out messages out. On top of Pluto, the father is looking into their version of a telescope. They seem to be looking into the system for the ship. The father says, have you found him yet? The Chancellor, I don't think we will find him. You know, he could be anywhere in the system. The father, all we wanted was him to be happy. At the FBI headquarters forensics unit days later, Emily is sitting in her office quarters. She is near the window, looking out onto the streets of D.C. She is going over documents. She has her computer up. Steve is on the webcam. They are talking back and forth. Emily says, they can't seem to find the culprit, Steve. I'm going to take Eek back. He's getting a condo apartment in the same complex as mine. Steve, thank goodness. I don't know if I can take this anymore. You can't say this case is closed. It's not, but they fear what the press is going to say. So we treat it like the police can handle it. They found who killed that man, but the alien bodies, they can't decide who it is. Steve, where do you live again? Do you have a partner yet? Emily, no. I'm on the shit list for what I said to the investigator. I might be fired. Steve, if you do, I could use a partner. And you can't watch Eek on your own. Emily, I'm thinking about it, Douglas. Right now, I have a job. Steve, do they want you to die? Emily, what gives you that idea? I know the last time I worked for them, usually when you work on your own, that was a message. That they either hated you were too good, or you knew too much. Emily, it's the latter. No one on my Bob squad but me and my boss. Steve, who is your boss? The head of the FBI. Steve whistles. He looks over his shoulder and then back at his computer screen. His phone rings. He takes it to his ear. Investigator Douglas. At the police station, a uniformed cop is on the phone with Douglas. Uniformed cop is talking to a mother. She is crying, and there's a cop trying to calm her down. The cop says, we have a case for you, Douglas. It's a missing person case. Steve, I'll be there. What is the case? Missing person. Someone's child is missing. Be there in 30 minutes. Emily is sorting out photos in her condo. Eek is sitting on the couch watching TV. He is watching football. He seems homesick. There's a bowl of chicken soup in front of him on the table. It is dark outside. Emily's phones go off. Eek has makeup on and his cream complexion now. Emily says, Emily, Becca, is this Emily Dickinson? Emily, Yes, who am I speaking with? Becca, we need to talk in person. It's about the last case. Emily Dickinson. It's a closed case. Is this Becca? Becca, yes, can I come over? I have some information for you. Sure, do you know about Eek? Everyone at the Pentagon knows about Eek. The only person that doesn't know is the president. Emily, why not? He is skeptic and would opt killing him. I'm gonna need Eek for information. Wait, don't you work for the president? Yes, but the Pentagon also has come to the conclusion this president is dangerous. We don't want him to know. You already know.